I grew up in a small town outside of Youngstown, Ohio. My family and I moved there to get away from sending me to Harding High School, where there was a lot of race riots. It was 1979. My family could hardly afford it, but we bought a house on the Cleary-Jacoby Road in Cortland, Ohio. My school was all white, as my grade school had been, and it didn't seem strange to me at the time, I'm sure. I mean, after all, I didn't really know very much about black people. They were just the people who lived on the west side of Warren, and nobody ever went there. About 1984, I went to the University of Cincinnati, and I found myself caught up in the protests against apartheid. We were trying to get the university to divest their monies from South Africa. And I signed petitions, wrote letters, went to lectures. It was all very exciting. I remember a few of the protests got pretty large, and they actually had to call campus security. But through all of this, I noticed that I still only had white friends. And I also began to notice that the marches that I went on were divided into two groups, one black and one white, separate but equal in our fight against apartheid. Now, I never considered myself a racist. I never made conscious choices to be what I was, and I hate that. But I was. And I came to Philadelphia in February of 1989, and I was aware that the neighborhood I was going to live in was black. I must admit I was kind of scared. I remember laying awake at night, some nights, listening for gunshots. And it took a while, but I learned. I learned how to be safe on the streets, and that the people in the corners weren't gang members. They were just waiting for the trolley. And I used to, get used to being the only white girl in the laundromat. You get used to being the only white girl in the grocery store. You make friends. I started going to school at Temple, and now I'm pretty comfortable with my life here. But, I don't feel any different. I don't feel any closer to understanding what it means to be black, or be white, or be green, or be yellow, than I ever did before. And I'm beginning to feel, the older that I get, that maybe I never will. Though, maybe that's just it. Maybe that's just it, that none of us ever will. That none of us ever will really understand each other, never really be close to each other, ever. That hurts, But if it's true, and it's not really an issue of being black or being white anymore, is it? It's not an issue of us or them. It's an issue of me and of you. Maybe I should have called this movie Confessions of a Midwestern White Girl. After all, that's kind of how it feels. But sometimes I feel that we're all just prisoners in our own selves, caged inside the boundaries of our learning and experience. I think it was someone famous who once said, "We're born into this world alone, and we leave it alone. And in between the being born and the dying, the best that any of us can hope for is but a little bit of sympathy."